Hagenbaum here at Kscope 16, and today we've got John King here with me, a fellow sufferer of the Arizona heat.
I like the Arizona heat.
I've known your name since I came into the Oracle community, and don't think I'm calling you anything, but it definitely advice is there, and people talk. How did you get into Oracle? How did you? Because it's not. A lot of people wouldn't say that Oracle is a sexy technology, but
many years ago I fell into
passionate about it.
I was working for a consulting company, and I had expertise with another relational database called DB2.
Okay.
And I was on the bench. And one of my company's clients had invested a bunch of money that, quote unquote, ran the same on the mainframe as they did on a PC.
Okay.
And it lost a lot of money, it hadn't done that. And along came the Oracle sales rep and was telling them about Oracle running the same on the PC as it did on the mainframe. So they said, okay, consultant, go see if it really works.
Okay.
And I did, and it did. That was Oracle version 4 on 5.5-inch floppy disks.
I still remember 5.5-inch floppy disks. My father was an IBM programmer, and I was afflicted with the assembler language when I was younger, and I asked for a computer.
Let's see, you never have to wonder how a piece of software does something, though, do you?
Exactly, and you never, you have an infinite appreciation for the level of technology that we have today and the massive amount of storage that we have compared to that floppy disk, and the idea that you could kind of drop it and not, or step on it and it wouldn't break.
Yeah, that whole metaphor on screens and things really has to change, because there's a whole army of people under 15 who've never actually seen one of those.
And the army's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son's like, Dad, how did you ever live with that kind of low tech? And it's like, at the time it was high tech.
And I know that the year will come, 5-10 years from now, we'll be laughing about our big clunky iPhones and Androids.
Oh yeah.
Can you believe we carried that beast around?
It'll be an implant or something, or a data jack or what have you. So you've been in the community for a while, and what's your passion nowadays? What inspires you to do what you do?
I'm getting kind of psyched up about, it's a lot of things that we're able to do now we could only dream about years ago because the integration was so difficult. Now with the profusion of cloud platforms and Internet of Things, I think we're at the cusp right now. We're about where the Internet was around the year 2000.
Okay.
We're there with the cloud and Internet of Things, and that the basic framework's in place, but we don't really know what the heck we're going to do with it yet. Nobody's come up with that killer app. There's a couple killer apps out there, but we're going to do some great things and that we can't even imagine today.
Yeah, I remember it was a few years back. I was trying to figure out how to interface Oracle with different telemetry sensors and what have you. And you're right, the IoT efforts, the things that like Kellen plays with the Raspberry Pi, it's really bridging a whole lot of new data that we can then consume and process and actually make something out of as it comes in. So.
Yeah, and then we'll need to tie that in to all that existing data that we've been hoarding all these years that now seems small and paltry in comparison of volume-wise. But it's pretty fascinating to watch how all this stuff works, and the movement toward the HTTP style or REST style calls means that I no longer have to worry about what language you used or what operating system you used.
As long as there's a middleware that we can all interpret.
Everything's plain vanilla, and that's just, it's enabling a kind of interaction that, again, we could only dream about a few years ago.
Yeah. So where do you see it going next? What is something that you really want to see start coming out of all of this?
Better integration between the cloud servers, the cloud providers. Right now we have cloud in silos.
About 30 or 40 silos at the last count for me.
Right, and so I'm looking forward to better integration of cloud services across vendors. I'm looking forward to smoother tooling. Right now, a lot of the tooling is in its early days. There's a lot of command line stuff going on, and I'm geeky enough, I love the command line, but it's not, for long haul, it can't be that way.
Yeah.
For the long haul, it needs to be drag and drop and build things like you do in Application Express or Forms.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't count the command line out of it too soon, because, quite honestly, there's a lot of people, and actually, I was in Kerry's presentation earlier, and he was talking about, no, it wasn't Kerry's, it was someone else was talking about it, the levels of abstraction in the Oracle database. You know, Application Express has the Apex mail, but underneath it, it's util mail.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you really get down to it, the command line is still relevant because there are just some things that nobody thought anyone would want to do at the higher levels. You got to be able to dig down a little bit and say, okay, it's appropriate to use.
And that'll probably always be the case. And a good example of that is most of these new services have their own their own command line interfaces. You know, even the new Enterprise Manager 3. You know, there's a bunch of stuff you only do on the command line, or you do better on the command line.
You can always do something better on the command line at that point. I've done my fair share of administration.
Did I say 3? I meant 13C, excuse me.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, it's kind of hard to ask because you're kind of the kind of person that inspires people like me to say, okay, what can I learn and how can I learn it? Who in these communities keeps you inspired?
There's a ton of stuff to learn, and there are a lot of people to be inspired by. You mentioned Carrie. Carrie's always inspiring, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, it's something to dip into a mind like that.
Yeah, he's a rare mix of brilliance and integrity, and just he's a great guy to be around. There's a lot of people in the ODTUG community. Tim Gorman is here, Kent Graziano, a lot of people that have been around for a long time, and then some of the new people. You know, a lot of the Oracle product people are really great. You know, Jeff Smith and Chris, and the guys from the OX team. You know, it's really super. Like a lot of the people that we work with, even though we're IT people, have been completely surprised by this whole scavenger hunt thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised.
And they're saying, I can do that on my phone? The thing senses me, and it's really fascinating to listen to these side conversations because we're technical people. We're way ahead of the average population, and a lot of us aren't there yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's some tech that we just ignore because it's outside of what we do on a business level. We don't think about it because that's someone else's tech. That's someone else's passion, and now it's like, oh, I noticed my phone again.
Yeah, we do what we do every day. We do it very well. And we don't usually have the opportunity to reach out and experiment or try new things.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, one of the luxuries of what I do for a living is I'm actually obligated to go out and try the new stuff out and see how it works and see how I think it's going to apply and gamble on how much to invest time-wise in learning something to see if it's going to last or not.
So have you been keeping track of like the different competitions in ODTUG, like the Application Express gaming competition, things like that, where they're encouraging people to think differently inside the tech?
Yeah,
and
a little bit.
What do you think?
I was at the Apex Open Mic Night last night, and there was this really fascinating demo. But at the end of it, we thought, how much of that was really Application Express? There was a lot of Node in there, and there's a lot of JavaScript in there.
Oh, believe me, I've seen my fair share of people chasing the newest JavaScript library.
But I think that's part of the world we live in now. The days of one tool set are long gone.
Yes.
And I was talking to someone who is involved in magazines and these things, and he said the shelf life of software used to be about 5 years. You could learn something, and that would be good to have in your quiver for about 5 years. He said now it's about 9 months.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a year and a half.
Well, how does that keep something like Application Express relevant when we get upgrades maybe about once every other year? Yeah,
but they keep it fresh though. With the JavaScript plugins and the ability to tie in, they've kept the blinders off and said, okay, this is the world we live in, so we might as well work with it. I was really impressed and amazed the first time I went to an Oracle demonstration and they had Node under the covers. It's like, wow, Oracle's running Node. That's cool.
To play with Node yet, but I'm looking forward.
It's counterintuitive that when you first learn about Node, you've worked in IT for a while, you look at it and you think there's no way that can scale. And then you hear about little companies like Netflix. And it's amazing how well it scales. But it is, at the end of the day, still debugging JavaScript.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's I guess that's the cross we have to bear.
Yeah.
So we're about halfway through the conference. What's next on your list? Where are you going? What's your plans, or what's your focus to look at today?
Today I'm going to learn a little bit about some of the new Oracle Cloud mobile features, and I'm hoping to also sit in on one of the sessions on using REST and JSON in the cloud. I've got an Oracle Database Cloud instance, and I popped up ORDS on it, and I've been playing around with it, and I have a couple of questions that Jeff tells me that Chris can answer, so that's good. So that's on the agenda.
Okay.
And I'm unfortunately going to have to leave Wednesday. I'll miss the big party. So.
Oh, the costume party.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Oh, it'll be fun.
Well, I'm going. I'm here until Friday, so
Go out and find yourself a little costume.
Well, yeah, I'm going to go out and find a little bit of Chicago on Thursday afternoon, and just because it's been 10 years since I've been in this city, and there's a lot here that just surprises me.
It's a great city, yeah.
It's like this city, exploring it is kind of like exploring the new technologies and finding those little gold nuggets and saying, wow, that's really surprising. I wouldn't have thought Chicago would be like that.
I've been out walking a lot every morning, every afternoon, and partly because my hotel is a ways from here. And it's been really great to dig around and see some things that I knew from before and some new places, and plus the weather's been spectacular. We totally lucked out.
Yeah, well, coming from Arizona right now, did you bring a jacket?
No.
You from Arizona?
I was out running this morning. It was nice.
I did because I thought I was going to get a cold. It's a lot of difference between here and
probably get a cold from these vents in the conference center.
Well, thanks for stopping by, John. It's always a pleasure
Always good to see you.
to you.
Maybe I'll see you at home sometime.
Yes.